When it comes to making a new puzzle game, developers have a very unique problem. By their very nature, the traditional puzzle game is almost infinitely replayable, and people tend to stick with the games they've always played, evergreen titles like Tetris. They don't really go out and look for something new. It takes a truly unique and interesting game to break through and even become remotely popular. Meanwhile, new versions of the games that are already popular sell like crazy, no matter the quality. So this week's game, Meteos, had a pretty big hurdle to clear before it even came out. Now, this was back in 2005, so at the very least it didn't have endless numbers of free-to-play match 3 games on phones to compete with, but it was still a very hard market to break into. Nevertheless, a lot of people noticed Meteos at the time, making it a pretty decent success. But these days, people have forgotten about it again. While games based on the Match 3 model and to a lesser extent the oldest puzzle games like Tetris, Meteos has faded away into history. And that's really a shame because Meteos is a fantastic little puzzle game that I would put on the same level as games like Tetris. The core mechanic here is, for all intents and purposes, a variation on the traditional Match 3 model, but unlike a lot of the clones we see now, the variations that Meteos has are rather meaningful. Like pretty much any game that has falling blocks, your goal in Meteos is to make sure that your screen doesn't fill up with them. But instead of just matching them up to make them go away, when you match up a horizontal row of same colored blocks in Meteos, they rocket away into the sky. But what makes the mechanic really interesting and unique is the fact that each different level, which are presented to the player as different planets, have unique properties that make playing on each of them almost completely different. The most obvious effect of this is visual. Each level has a completely different look, but each of them also has a different level of gravity, affecting how quickly and easily blocks can make it to the top of the screen. What it means in a gameplay sense is that playing through a string of levels is a lot more fun than a puzzle game usually makes it. Variety is king when it comes to puzzle games, and that's something that Meteos definitely seems to have figured out. The gravity differences between levels are a great starting point, and the game also has a large selection of modes that you'd sort of expect from a puzzle game, but I think the coolest feature Meteos has in regards to variety are its sub-modes. Its campaign mode can either be played straight through or in one of 2 branching modes, allowing you to have a completely different route through the campaign each time. Add to that the fact that increasing the difficulty actually pits you against more and more enemy planets at a time instead of just ramping up the speed, and it becomes very clear that Meteos is a puzzle game with a whole hell of a lot to do. While puzzle games may struggle to break through, they do tend to age very well, and Meteos is no exception. Those used to playing games with their fingers might be a bit disappointed to find themselves using a stylus, but Meteos demands a level of precision that requires it, and it is an experience well worth the inconvenience. Every Monday, I look at a game that's at least 10 years old, what I would consider to be retro, and I see if it's held up today, if it's still worth playing now. If you like that idea, be sure to subscribe so you can see the latest videos. If you like this video in particular, be sure to hit that like button, and thanks for watching.